Okay, that's fine, but you can deal with your spat at a time that is not right before I have to do a speech for the first time since the 4th grade. Thank you very much. Are we still waiting for Ryland or
I think he left, so I think
oh,
we're Oh, he's back.
oh my god.
Thank you for showing up. We are gonna have several speeches today. We are having this rally. You will hear in order from Vice President Juniperfig, from Asexual Dinosaur, Secretary of Education, from Senator Juno Andrist, and then from yours truly. With that out of the way, I make the way for Juniper.
Hello.
For
Hi.
Juniper.
Hi everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you, Kaiserin, for letting me talk first. I'm very excited. Um, I joined the server like 6 months ago, almost to the day. It was January 4th. I came after watching the coup video from our beloved Charligarch. Charligarch? I don't know how to say his name. But I just wanted to see if a political roleplay Minecraft server was a real thing. I wanted to see the drama. I was planning on lurking around and becoming a doctor and just observing. But I fell in love almost immediately. I was so welcomed by the community. I was so surprised by like the outpouring of support people gave me once I joined. Uh, just this new player kind of messing around, and everybody seemed to want to help. I find that's kind of hard to come by on a Minecraft server these days. People kind of, make their friends and aren't often open to including new people, but it was different here. I I found some really really good friends. I found a community, and I found something to keep me busy during a pretty hard time in my life. Um, and I love it here. And yeah, I find it difficult to put into words how much I love the executive branch. I'm genuinely obsessed with doing the little tasks that help keep our server going, and I really want you to all feel the same way. I mentioned a little bit about this in my About Me post in the campaign server, if you've read it, but I've kind of been spearheading the Flowers campaign in the WPR, which is basically where I just tell people to go get a government job. Um, and it has been so cool seeing people find the silly little tasks on the server that they're interested in. I want to spread the love to the whole server, which is why I was so thrilled when Kaiserin asked me to be her VP. Um, Kaiserin was one of the first people that I met on the server. We were paralegals at Dragon Law together, and she has just absolutely blown me away with her dedication and her talent and her consistency and her love for all of the people that she works with. Um, I could not ask for a better friend, confidant, and hopefully future boss. I think she's a fantastic candidate, and I think our policy list speaks for itself, honestly. But I'm really, really proud of the work that we've done through this campaign, and I hope that you all see the love that we've put into it too. Um, I'm really thankful to have the opportunity to possibly represent you all. I'm so so thankful for the outpouring of support that you've all shown us. I'm so thankful to our beautiful cabinet for bringing such amazing ideas for all of the departments, and I really really hope to get to work for you as your vice president for the next 4 months. Um, yeah, get out and vote. I love you guys. I mean it. Thank you for listening. And with that, I believe it is Dino's turn.
Oh, okay. I'll stand here. Hello, everybody.
Love that entrance.
I know. Thank you. Please hold the applause. Ooh. Uh, I'm pretty bad at speeches. I don't write them. I don't give them. This is probably my first real speech I've given in Redmaw. Other than my crazy ramblings you've probably seen in politics or legal. But yes, in moment. I did want to talk about how much I really do appreciate Kaiser and Juniper as members of the executive and in Congress. I think they've made amazing progress in general. And within their party, they've made great strides to keep things active and flowing and refreshing. Juniper talked lightly about the Flowers campaign, and as secretary of the DOE, I can say I've seen the results of that. I've seen, people applying in. We've had a lot of activity. We've had professors and archivists alike come in and help provide new ideas, and we're excited to push out new stuff. It's been really nice, just seeing the effects of that is one branch. Uh, it- yeah, and it's been nice to see that as a secretary. As someone who has worked more closely with Juniper in multiple departments, notably the DOE, but also the Department of State and the Department of Justice, I've been impressed with their ability to not only be an active member of the community, but also advance the health of those departments and helping creating new processes, documentation, and lending a hand to people who have questions. They've been very active in that regard, and I've always been very impressed. I've also been very impressed with Kaiser's congressional run, generally working across party lines and introducing modern legislation. I'm confident in both their ability to work with Congress as well as the executive and to pave new way for exciting new projects that make the atmosphere more enjoyable, not just for the players, but also for those who work in the executive. I've had conversations with both of them about the direction that I'd like to see the Department of Education head, and I'm excited about their policy direction for the Department of Education, making changes for the betterment of Redmont as well as its citizens. That said, more than anything, just make sure you get out and vote. And I don't know who's going next.
Thank you, Dino. Next will be Juno.
Hello. My fellow Redmontians, it is great to be here with you all as we gather to rally behind Kaiserin as she prepares to represent the common player in the presidential election. I met Kaiserin on the 6th of January, only 5 months ago, and nearly 5 months on the dot. We bonded over our shared backgrounds, our common views, and our gayness. Over time, I began to realize that she would become an essential part of the Workers' Party. And soon after that, I realized she would be an essential part of my life too. In those 5 months, she and I have built careers in our own rights and developed friendships and community that will follow us for years to come. Despite this, she and I are still intimately familiar with the issues that plagued us as we first began this adventure. That insight allows her to be the best fit for the job that she's running for. Kaiserin's drive and perseverance are nearly limitless. When she puts her mind to something, she gets it done, to the pleasure of our allies and to the chagrin of our opponents. Unlike many Redmontian politicians, both past and present, this work is meaningful to her. The well-being of our player base isn't just a talking point or an aesthetic. For Kaiserin, it's the entire purpose of her presence in Redmont. Believe me, we've had hours of conversation about various bills and political issues on this stupid-ass Minecraft server. Kaiserin doesn't just give her all for her community. When she does something, she does it well. She isn't your everyday populist. She is a skilled orator, an articulate legislator and lawyer, and a thoughtful and passionate communicator. If she's putting her name on something, you can be sure it's top quality. Fighting for you and fighting for every other common player is what gives her purpose. Lastly, Kaiserin is consistently a great friend, a reliable colleague, and the best wife I could ever ask for. No matter who you are, she's willing to lend you an ear and give you a chance. She knows that behind every player, behind every screen name, there's a real person with their own life, their own beliefs, their own worries, and their own feelings. These are the people Kaiserin fights for. She has taught me so much about communication, compromise, and my own emotions. I love you so much, honey. Without further ado, I present to you the next president of the Commonwealth of Redmont, Kaiserin.
Um, oh my God, I love you so much. Trying not to cry. I would like to say thank you to everyone else that has spoken today. Of course, my amazing wife, my real life girlfriend, Juno, Dino, who has helped me so much with this campaign and even like getting into Congress originally. Juniper, who has, of course, run this with me, done everything with me. She is the best ally I could possibly have in this race with me. But that said, friends, the time has finally come. First, I'd like to thank you all for being here, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend this rally. It means a lot to me that we have enough supporters to put on an event like this, and seeing everyone here is honestly heartwarming. I'd like to talk a little bit about the past, and then more importantly, I'd like to talk about the future. I've been in this community for a little over 6 months now, much like the rest of you. And while I know that I haven't been around as long as some others, I already feel such a strong connection to it. In order to run for president, I've had to seriously ramp up my playtime, and it's been a hell of a journey to get to 300 hours. Many of you will have seen my occasional spreadsheet updates where I share my progress in regards to playtime. And if you have, you'll have seen that I've been clocking around 5 hours every day of in-game playtime for the last half month or so. That means that I've been spending about a quarter of my total available time on this earth on DC, and that's come with its ups and downs. One of the major upsides, though, has been getting to spend so much time interacting with all of you lovely people in this community. I know it's a campaign slogan, but I really do love you all, and I really do mean it. Every hour I get to spend here is an hour well spent in the company of a welcoming, brilliant, and exciting group of people, and I couldn't be more honored to be a part of it. At the heart of it all, that's really why I'm running for president. I make a lot of talk about power and glory, and that's all well and good, but none of it could compare to the call to serve your community. And that's where my real motivation lies. I'm running not to elevate myself, but to elevate you. Not to empower myself, but to empower the people. I've always viewed the government as a vehicle. Sometimes it goes forward, sometimes it goes backward, and there's always a rotating cast of characters in the driver's seat. Well, I think it's time we made the people the drivers, and I think it's time we go full throttle. The people of Redmont deserve a government that doesn't just go through the motions. They deserve real, genuine advocates who will do everything for their benefit. The people of Redmont don't want stagnation and inactivity, they want progress and the hope of a brighter future. The people deserve a system that not only works, but works for them. And that is exactly what we're setting out to do. We're not just fixing issues, we're setting the foundations for a government that will be better, fairer, more polished, and more representative for years to come. Our vision for Redmont is one that lives up to its name. We are not the Republic, but the Commonwealth of Redmont. Take a minute to think about that word, Commonwealth. A state that is for the Commonwealth is one that is for the good of the common people. That's what we want. A Redmont where the good of the people is placed first and foremost on the government's priorities. A Redmont where whether rich or poor, new or old, left or right, every player has the comfort of knowing that there's someone in their corner. We dream of making a real difference with our policies, targeting real issues felt by everyday players. We're not just getting things in working order, we're making something better entirely. That's why we're raising wages. That's why we're lowering taxes. That's why we're fighting back against finance. And that's why we're reevaluating old vanilla mechanics to make the game more engaging and enjoyable for all players. But we can't do it alone. I have spent my every waking moment on this server fighting for a better and more prosperous Commonwealth, and I'm proud to say that I think I've done pretty well. But none of it would have been possible without the absolutely amazing and dedicated community that's been behind me the whole way. From my wonderful girlfriend who I met through this server, to Juniper, my trusted ally and confidant, to every single member of my party, and everyone that's ever helped me with a bill or idea, I would be nothing without you all. For that, I sincerely thank you. And I have one last request to make. Get out there and show your support. We need it all hands on deck in order to send as clear a message as possible. Spread the word, telling your friends, and most importantly, Show out to vote on the 7th as soon as polls open. Thank you. I love you all, and have a blessed night.
Very good.
Hemdog
Woo!
also made a very good point. Gold-Blooded has been with us almost since day one, and he's been absolutely crushing it, showing us the ropes as the little baby new players. Thank you, Gold. We
Yeah,
appreciate you
Gold
so much.
I want to
Gold has
support the
been amazing.
campaign that is like actually gonna do something when they get in office. So, and like me and Kai have very similar. Like I've talked to her in DMs. We have very similar philosophies of leadership and running a country or running a cabinet. And I want to support the one that more aligns with me. So, with my expertise and the years I've spent on this fucking server, I would like to at least spend it on someone who's worth it.
Yeah, I really couldn't appreciate you more, Gold, and all the help you've put towards this campaign. Um, even before I announced this campaign, Gold approached me in DMs and said, "Hey, I can tell that you're running for president. Let me help." So that's exactly what we did. That said, we are going to be taking some questions from the audience. Might just take a couple minutes for that. So feel free to shout out any questions in the in-game chat or in the Discord chat, and we will be answering. Kato, you have a question? What plans in stock for the towns? We have a little bit of detail on that in our policy document, but we want to reevaluate the town's rights executive order, not like revamping it entirely, but just adding a couple of different provisions. We want to do things like changing how residency works, so people can't just change their residency to vote when they don't actually live in the town. We want to make it so that you have to actually hold residency in the town or to hold public office. We don't have any plans of doing anything crazy radical beyond that. And of course, we want to do as much as we can for Willow to kind of revitalize it. And Juniper, feel free to jump in with any of these questions as well if you feel the need to.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
Wonderful.
You had a question? King Bob, I see your question. We will absolutely get to you.
I have a question when everyone else is answering.
Ooh. I would give you an incredibly eloquent and insightful answer, addressing all of your concerns, and then after that, I would bring up a new piece of information that you hadn't considered before that would, change your perspective on the whole thing. Thank you for the insightful question, I appreciate you.
That's really inspiring, and I would also be here during that. So I
Yeah.
think that adds something.
King Bob wants to know if there will be any updates with the Commerce Department.
We are pretty happy with how the Commerce Department has been going to a certain extent. I think a lot of the issue with the DOC is just not having enough manpower. That's the main issue we want to address. And we do have some plans for example, getting more information from reports for financial institutions, using the DSC for more economic research so we can make more informed policy. But those are our main points of interest.
Hell yeah.
Let's see.
Casey, I think you were next.
I love that ad popping up in chat. It's a good ad. Who made that?
I don't know. I'm a big fan. Where the hell? Oh,
Let's see. I was here during Gold's presidency, and if I recall correctly, he was kind of laissez-faire with the cabinet. Since you two share philosophies on cabinet, would you say this is your philosophy too, to let secretaries do whatever they want? I don't know if I would say necessarily. I do believe in secretarial autonomy. I don't want to be I don't want to be commanding everything from the top down necessarily. I trust the people that I've chosen for my cabinet to make decisions on their own. But I do think it's important that we have more oversight in the departments than perhaps we had in the past, making sure everything is actually going in working order, making sure that the policies that we have promised are actually getting delivered on. And so I do plan on taking a little bit more of an oversight role into all the departments.
I want to jump in here real quick and say that Kai's not going to be like Bezer where he doesn't do anything. That's it.
okay. I think from the Discord we've got from Dojington. Any plans on how to fix the property bubble?
I think I would need more information on what specifically you're asking. Property is a big issue that we have already we've already made a lot of progress on, I think, through stuff like the Plot Regulations Act. We want to introduce more property into the market through things like increased eviction auctions. But if there is something more specific that you have a question about, I'm happy to answer.
Sweet. Brittle, I think you're up next. And if I miss somebody, just yell at me. I'll apologize.
Brittle is up here.
So, well, I don't think I'm supposed to be, but I was invited, so you know.
Well, welcome. What's your question? How can we help?
Hi. Well, I just wanted to say that super big fan of y'all. Congratulations, and I hope you guys win. Also, I kind of came in on the tail end of things, but so I may have missed it, but I was just kind of wanting to know, like, what your stance was on working with the government and monarchy of Alexandria.
Yeah, good question. First of all, thank you for your support. Secondly, I am very happy to work with Alexandria. I think peaceful foreign relations will be a really important part of sort of running the nation going forward. I do know that we have a pretty big difference in political philosophy from the current rulers of Alexandria, but I am not super concerned with that damaging relations too much. One of my first priorities, if it isn't already done by the time I take office, will be signing a mutual treaty of recognition with Alexandria. I would also love to see what can be done about international trade, if that's at all possible, because I think that would add for more roleplay and economic aspects to the server.
W answer, amazing.
Thank you. Guai has requested to speak, so I'm gonna invite him up here unless you had something else to add, Juniper.
We actually have Hamdog asking some long questions right before. I thought it was Gui. I feel like such a fool.
I also thought it was Gui.
It might be Gui, I don't know.
Hamdog asks, how will you ensure the DCT is consistent? Yeah, I read that right. Ensuring plots are being circulated from inactive players or players that aren't using them properly.
In terms of that, I think that'll tie a lot into the sort of presidential oversight that I mentioned. We have plans to. A lot of the issue with that is that there is some fluff that needs to be cut out of the process. that involves eviction auctions. There's a lot of plots that have been evicted and haven't been put up to auction yet. And we want to kind of try and reevaluate the eviction auction process to ensure that everything is actually going smoothly with those auctions. Beyond that, we want to do a hiring spree in the DCT. And we also trust End, who is our DCT secretary pick, to be on top of that sort of stuff. I also see that Hamdog has asked, what are your thoughts on the batch auctions that were recently announced by Vroomba? I'm not a huge fan of those. I think that property in general should be sold off individually so you actually know what you're getting in terms of property auctions. They're the ones that were like, oh, you get like a random plot, or oh, the second bidder gets like a specific plot. That I feel would lead to a lot of plots getting unused because players aren't actually getting the plots that they're wanting.
Beautiful. I'm gonna bring Gwai, whatever your name is, up to speak if you're
It's
ready to
Gui.
go.
Bring him up.
Hi, yeah,
Welcome.
it is Gui. It's not Gwai.
Ah!
Oh, God damn
Oh,
it.
no. Sylvia.
If Kaiserin can't get that right, how can we trust her for being president?
You guys can't
No,
vote for me
he's a
now. It's
mistake. He's a
over.
mistake.
It's over.
So my question, I guess, is slightly a compound question. Sorry, lawyers.
I'm
But
objecting.
I was reading through the policy document, and one of your policy aims is to increase wages in department jobs, especially the departments with lower staffing. I was wondering if you had estimates for wage increases for these roles, and also if it will affect the rather highly paid roles in the DOE in sort of like balancing.
Oh, I was just gonna give the DOE like $1,000 a day, but Kaiserin doesn't want that. So
To answer, yeah, I don't think I want that. But to answer your question, no, we don't have exact estimates yet because we need to work with our secretaries and do a closer evaluation of the budget once we are actually in office to make sure that we are not like blowing through our surplus, which we want to try and maintain, and to make sure that we are getting those numbers right in a way that will incentivize more work and ensure that players are properly compensated in a way that isn't going to cause any danger. And in terms of DOE pay, I would like to see. I think the DOE is already working on a more consistent pay system for that, and so I am hoping that we can keep high wages just with a little bit more consistent numbers, and while maintaining the DOE budget as best as we can.
I have an additional
And-
question to actually add on to that real quick, Kai.
Yeah, sure thing.
How can you ensure that the cabinet will fulfill their budgetary spending? Because we have seen time and time again where secretaries will request a certain amount of money and they won't spend. They'll only spend like half of it. Even they won't spend all of it. I mean, I know Dino over here. He tries to spend all of it as much as he can. It's good for him. That's what every secretary should be doing. How can you ensure that all the secretaries will do that under your leadership?
I want to take a closer look at the budget. I think oftentimes the budget ends up just being whatever the secretary wants it to be, when in reality it needs to be exactly what they need, no more, no less. And if they are given money, they need to actually apportion that money. And so I want to be not only encouraging secretaries to spend their budget through wage increases, but also be doing it, and it might involve some trial and error, adjusting budgets to what the departments actually need.
And I can kind of toss in a bit of a comment on the original question about exactly how much pay raising there's going to be. I've been rotating DOJ pay raises in my head for a little bit, and I think it's probably going to have to be about double. of what we're currently paying the lawyers. I've been crunching the numbers. Thank you, Juno.
Got it.
My ideal would be about double. Currently, lawyers in the DOJ and investigators and all the employees are paid somewhere between 2,000 and 6,500 biweekly for their work. But seeing like the piles and piles and piles of work they have to get through, I think double is probably the minimum. And I know that we're looking into just paying the DHS police officers, period. I think at least doubling the doctor pay, probably higher than that for each patient they treat. They only get $100. It's a little brutal. I mean, I'm sure the pandemic was a fantastic time for doctor pockets, but it should be better. And Dino is asking if we're doubling DOE pay too. Probably too, right? No.
No, ideally not.
No. Sorry.
That might burn through our entire
I'm
Commonwealth
not sure
budget
if
in
we have
1
the
month.
money for that. I mean, if you want to take the flack for raising the taxes, sure. And I
Yeah.
will happily give you all of the money that you raise. But, well, I can't make that decision. But yeah, you know. Anyways, rambling. Thank you.
Did you spot who was next in the questions?
Did I spot who was next? Yes, absolutely. Dojington has a follow-up on the property bubble. To be more specific, just how to make property accessible to newer players.
I think that'll just involve decreasing the price, because I think a lot of it, well, part of the issue is that a lot of plots go up for auction rather than being sold directly. I do want to look into what we can do for increasing the rate at which like plots are sold directly. But the main thing will just be increasing the amount of property available, which will naturally decrease the price. It looks like Rory asked a question in Discord a little while ago that we might have missed. How long do you think it'll take to hire a DPA secretary? I am hoping not very long at all. We're going to put out that EOI as soon as we get elected, if we are elected. And I am expecting that it won't take more than a couple days to a week to find one and get them proposed to the Senate, unless some crazy thing happens.
We've got a question from Dear EV. Do you have any plans for the DOJ, especially within the RBI? Gribble and I have been yapping about the DOJ for a hot minute. And honestly, I can't even lie to you. I don't know what to do with the RBI. I want to make it as effective as I possibly can. But it's so like far beyond my knowledge sphere that I was just kind of relying on you to show me what you need and what you want for the RBI. As the deputy secretary, you kind of basically get to pick and choose what's going on. DOJ on the lawyer side, which is what I'm actually familiar with, we've already started working on the chains of command so that people actually have somebody to report to, rather than it just being like the nebulous AG overseeing everything and it's just kind of like what's going on. And I know that Gribble and I are super, super passionate about creating robust training programs for new lawyers. I want to see mock trials is my real dream. Get people actually in that sort of trial environment and then let people experiment with being on the bench side of things. But specifically for the RBI, my main plan right now is to let you do your thing, show me what you need, and hire a bunch of investigators. Yeah.
It's a solid plan. King Bob asks, so how are you going to deal with understaffing in some departments? One of our big things is we want to do hiring sprees in a lot of the understaffed departments, which is a lot of them. One of the things that works better, in my opinion, is rather than making posts about hiring, which does help sometimes, reaching out to individuals who show promise in the sort of areas of question and recruiting individually is a much better tactic for getting people actually into government. I know that's the reason why I joined the DOS and the DOJ. Because the secretaries or the deputy secretaries reached out to me, specifically said, hey, you should apply for this department. And that's what we hope to encourage all the secretaries to do when they're facing understaffing issues. Were there any others in chat before I move on?
In Minecraft chat, from Sleepy Sloth. Question: are there any plans for increasing the UBI at all? When, if, thank you, you get elected?
Not currently. No, we are focusing our spending of the surplus in other areas, and we think UBI is at a pretty decent place with where it is, $15 to $20. And we don't want to risk overspending our budget. But if it turns out that that is something that's feasible and it's something that would help the working class, that's something we can definitely consider potentially in the future.
It's definitely a possibility. Government has like 11.7 million in it, so
Yeah,
probably have
and
enough for a little bit of a raise for UBI.
one
Something the
thing
Senate would probably support.
One thing we do want to consider with the spending of the budget, though, is that we do want to keep a surplus in because of the deposit insurance that we have on banks and how much instability we've seen in the finance sector. We want to make sure that we're actually able to be paying those out. Direv says, do you have any plans to shrink the fairgrounds due to the lack of use and potential for new plots? Yes, that is something that we would be interested in pursuing. Obviously, it'll be at the discretion of the DCT and the DPA, whose land it technically is. But we have plans for different uses for that area if it turns out to be feasible, including we've looked at an enlarged zoo. We looked at green space. We've looked at potentially turning it into private plots for selling off to decrease the burden on the plot crisis. But yeah, that's absolutely something we've considered.
Cato asks, if the general wages get substantially increased, how can it be ensured the dollar maintains its value and inflation doesn't drive up the prices? P.S. I feel like this could especially harm players who have not accrued enough time to get into government positions. For the second part of your question, I would like to note that we are hoping to cut the normal 48-hour government playtime requirement in half to 24 hours. I find it's kind of hard for new players to get a footing in, the government on our government roleplay server. So we really want to encourage and allow our newbies to, get their foot in the door. And on the dollar maintaining their value point.
On the dollar maintaining its value point, a lot of that would have to do mostly with the printing of more money, which we don't plan on increasing at all at this time. But we are going to be keeping an eye on inflation. We want to have the DOC do a little more in-depth research into inflation, where it comes from, what causes it, and to what extent we can do the things that we plan on doing without causing that sort of undue burden on the economy.
Luca asks, what is your plan with private university institutions?
I think we have our DOE secretary up here who I think might be able to answer that a little better for you if you want to, Dinah.
Oh, hi. Well, I do think one of the things I want to do is actually support the private accreditation institutions a little bit more. Right now, under the current EO that was signed under the Unity administration, private institutions can't actually make their own exams right now. They can, right, but they don't give you a role. So one of the things I'd really like to do is allow those institutions to create their own exams, potentially DOE approved, to give those roles immediately instead of just having this alternative education that they still have to come to the university and take our pre-written exam. We'd like to give them the ability to, really expand on those roles and then actually reward something for having done that work, and allow a little bit more of like an educational sphere into the server, while maybe not diminishing our professors and the work that they usually actually do, and things like that. Does that answer the question?
I think it does. I am going to do, since we've been going for about 45 minutes, I'm going to do one last question. Sleepy asks, what are your thoughts on the current economic state of DC, specifically with all the stuff going on with the banks as of recently? What are the plans for addressing it? A lot of that I think has to do with the complete lack of regulation on the finance sector. We want to work with the DOC to introduce more regulation as well as support legislation in Congress that will increase those kinds of regulation. A lot of that has to do with a lot of risky, dangerous practices being done, and even just bad accounting being done in financial institutions. That needs a lot more oversight to ensure that things are actually getting done properly. I know I said one more question, but I'm seeing one in Discord that has 6 this emotes, and so I feel that may have a lot of support for being answered. I'm not sure if this was asked, but what will you do about the current shortage of judicial officers on the court? That is a really major issue to me. I want to be, one of my first priorities will be proposing more federal judges to go on to the federal court. And I also want to be encouraging the Supreme Court to appoint more magistrates. We did just get our first magistrate appointment, so we now have, instead of 0, 1 magistrate, but it is not nearly enough. And we have plenty of legal minds available in this community to fulfill those roles. We just need to be reaching out to people, and we need to be encouraging them and actually proposing them and getting things done, because the complete inactivity from the judiciary has been pretty disappointing from the legal side of this server. And I think that is what we have for the question side of things today. I wanted to thank everyone again for coming out. I wanted to thank everyone who spoke today on, in some cases, pretty short notice. Juno, Dino, Juniper, and of course, Gold-Blooded. I wanted to say I love you all, and I mean it. And you all have a blessed night.